After the band won the championship, the female bassist jumped straight into Justin's arms, cheering. Later, she explained innocently, "I was just too excited. Don't take it personally, sis." I smiled. Funny how when you're excited, you only pick guys who already have girlfriends to hug. No one else catches your eye? Justin immediately pulled her behind him. "She's always been carefree, not as sensitive as you." "Is it really that serious? If you want to break up, just say it." At that moment, I realized this relationship was nothing special after all. "Fine, let's break up." I erased everything about him, accepted the offer to be an exchange student abroad. Justin thought it was just another little mood of mine, one he could smooth over with some sweet talk, until he flew across thousands of miles, flowers in hand, to make peace, only to be met with a low, hoarse male voice. "Mr. Justin, she was exhausted last night. I'm afraid she doesn't have the energy to see you." Chapter 1. Justin's band had just won the championship, and the celebration banquet was buzzing with energy. When I pushed the door open, bassist Helen was already sitting close to him, casually picking up his glass and taking a sip. Justin's impromptu solo today, absolute killer, totally blew the judges away. Her arm was draped over his shoulder, the sequins on her spaghetti-strap top glittering under the lights. The producer said we can get into the studio next week for a trial recording. A toast to our lead singer. Justin smiled and clinked glasses with her. The rest of the band hooped and cheered. The air was electric. Only after a while did Justin finally notice me at the door. "Alicia, why aren't you coming in?" A few pairs of eyes turned toward me. I quietly walked over to a corner seat, my fingers tightening around my phone. On the school forum, news of Justin's band taking the championship was everywhere. The most viewed post was the cover video. The only female member, bassist Helen, leaping into Justin's arms in excitement. Justin had laughed as he caught her and spun her around. The comments section was on fire. "A new rockstar couple is born, Justin Helen. A visual knockout on championship night. The campus prince and princess, what a god-tier match. Just get married already. You're giving us all cavities." Someone commented, "But isn't Justin dating a gorgeous top student from Qingda?" And was quickly replied to, "Wow, you just got internet? That ended ages ago." Sis?" Helen's voice carried that deliberate surprise as she tilted her head at me. "Why are you sitting so far away playing on your phone? You don't look happy. Are we being too loud?" I turned off my phone screen. Justin set down his glass and explained for me. "It's fine. That's just her personality. She's used to being quiet, not into crowds." Helen drawled an "oh," and leaned a little closer to Justin again. "So, Justin, with you and sis having such opposite personalities, how did you two even get together? Who chased who? I'm dying to know." She blinked up at him, like a curious little cat. Justin replied casually, "We've known each other since we were kids. Grew up in the same compound. It just happened naturally." Someone teased, "Childhood sweethearts, don't you know? A perfect match from the roots." "Aw, makes sense." Helen suddenly gave a soft laugh. "Maybe you were too young to understand love. Honestly, you two don't really seem like a good match." Her innocent smile flashed across me for just a second. I curved my lips into a silent smile, then looked her straight in the eye and asked, "Oh, if I'm not a match for him, does that mean you are? Why don't I hand him over to you?" Chapter 2. The moment the words left my mouth, silence fell over the entire room. All the time we'd been together, I had never embarrassed Justin in front of others. No matter how upset I felt, I always swallowed it down in private. So of course they couldn't believe that quiet, obedient me would tear the facade apart in public. After a beat of awkwardness, someone hurried to smooth things over. "Don't overthink it, sis. Helen just speaks before she thinks. She didn't mean anything by it, right, Helen?" Helen quickly covered her mouth, striking an exaggerated pose of surrender. "Oh no, sis. I'm so sorry. So sorry. This damn mouth of mine. I just blurt things out without thinking. Please don't take it to heart." I only gave a silent smile. Seeing I didn't respond, Justin frowned, set down his glass, and fixed me with a direct stare. "Alicia, what's this about? Everyone's having a good time tonight, why are you killing the mood? Helen's just got that carefree personality. No hidden agendas, not like you. So sensitive. She didn't mean anything. Do you really have to overreact like this? Heh. So in his eyes, I was sensitive. A mood killer, while Helen's thoughtless comments were just carefree, innocent, and adorable. My heart sank, inch by inch. Fine. If that's how it is, then I might as well ruin the mood completely. I met Justin's angry gaze head on, picked up my phone, opened Helen's Moments feed. Last month, on the 12th, your band practiced until 2 a.m., well past campus curfew. Helen, in an oversized men's t-shirt, sat smugly on a dark gray bed clutching a pillow. Caption, hee hee. Successfully took over the master's bed. Poor Justin had to go crash in the guest room. The next photo showed the narrow guest bed with Justin's half-annoyed face. Flipping the camera off, I didn't stop. My finger swiped again. Last Wednesday, band dinner. Helen, holding a bitten matcha ice cream cone, had one hand gripping Justin's arm, half her body leaning into him, her mouth poised to take a huge bite from his ice cream cone. Caption, can't decide on a flavor? This greedy pig wants both. Justin, let me have a bite, come at me. Finally, my finger landed hard on the latest post. From tonight, just minutes ago, Justin spinning her around after the championship win. Caption, this moment belongs to us. I looked straight at Justin, letting out a short, scornful laugh. This is what you call carefree? Justin's brows knitted tighter, his voice dropping, tinged with obvious impatience. Alicia, are you digging up old grievances now? Yes. Is that not allowed? I met his furious stare without flinching. Any girl knows you keep a respectful distance from a guy who already has a girlfriend. God, what is your problem? Helen shot up from her seat, her tone a mix of anger and disbelief. Justin was right there beside me, so I hugged him in the moment. What's the big deal? It was just a harmless hug. Why are you blowing this out of proportion? You're paranoid. Helen's right. Someone quickly jumped in to mediate. Sis, it was just the excitement of the moment. Hugging to celebrate is totally normal, really. There's nothing more to it. Is that so? I locked eyes with Helen, enunciating each word. Crystal clear. What a coincidence. Then, when you get excited, you only hug guys who already have girlfriends? No one else is worth your attention? Alicia. Justin suddenly stood, his face dark as steel. Enough. Stop making a scene. Everyone's happy tonight and you insist on ruining it. If you want to break up, just say it. Break up. The room went utterly still. Time seemed to stretch and twist. Chapter 3. I looked at the man before me, his figure overlapping and peeling away from a shadow in my memory. Justin had always been like a little sun, raised in love. Radiant. The center of attention wherever he went. When I was 10, my home collapsed. My father cheated. My parents fought constantly. I'd hide in my room and cry, and young Justin would sneak in through my window, hold me, and say, "Don't cry, Alicia, you still have me." Clumsily, he'd wipe my tears and hook his pinky with mine. When I grow up, I'll marry you, never cheat, never betray you. Cross my heart. Later, his family's business flourished, and they moved into a grand villa. My mom and I lived in an old, shabby workers' housing block. She became a different person, fighting hard at work, coming home with nothing but exhaustion. The only time her eyes lit up was when I handed her a perfect test score. I grew quieter, burying myself in books. Justin, on the other hand, hated studying. He loved loud music, intense sports, and wild adventures with friends. From middle school on, love letters and longing glances followed him everywhere, but he would always pull me close and declare, "See, my Alicia, we've been promised since we were kids." When the college entrance exam results came out, I got into a top university. Justin was accepted to the city's drama academy. On my first day, he dragged 2 suitcases ahead of me, talking nonstop. "Look, our campuses are just across the street. We'll date for 4 years. Then get married after graduation." He painted our future with such earnest, burning eyes. When did it start to sour? Maybe when he started mentioning our super interesting bassist more and more often. When I saw pictures on his phone, playful selfies with Helen during rehearsal breaks that I'd never been told about. Or when he started saying, "You're always buried in your studies, you wouldn't get the band stuff anyway," with that subtle edge of distance in his tone. Or maybe earlier, when he stood on stage, dazzling under the lights, soaking in screams and applause, while I could only watch quietly from the shadows. The gulf between our worlds had already opened. Now, he stood before me, eyes full of irritation and impatience. In that moment, I suddenly found it all meaningless. "Yes, let's break up," I said. Justin froze. He had probably never imagined that the girl who always followed quietly behind him, giving and giving, would actually nod and say the words. Right then, Helen suddenly burst into tears. "Why are you breaking up over me? Justin and I are totally innocent." She tugged urgently at his sleeve. "Tell her it's all my fault, okay? I'll apologize, please. Stop fighting. Don't break up because of me. I can't take that kind of blame." Justin snapped back to his senses. His gaze locked on me, his Adam's apple bobbing. "Fine, if that's what you said." I smiled. "Yes, that's what I said." I turned, pushed open the heavy door, and this time, I didn't look back. Chapter 4. Along the road, the night wind was biting, scattering the last traces of warmth. My phone buzzed, a message from my advisor. "Alicia, have you discussed the fully funded exchange program with your boyfriend? I understand young people don't want to be apart, but I'll say this as your teacher, you have real talent. Don't let fleeting romance delay your future. Focus on your studies." Without hesitation, I hit send. "You're right, Professor. I'll take the opportunity. Thank you," he replied. "That's great. The other spot is going to Joel, so you'll have company." Just as I stepped onto campus, my phone buzzed again. It was Joel. "Acknowledged. Attaching the core forms for the exchange program. Please fill them out and send them back to me for consolidation." 2 neat PDF files were attached. "Got it. Thanks," I replied. A second later, another file popped up, an Excel sheet titled, "Exchange Program Pre-Departure Checklist V1 2. Opening it, I was stunned by the level of detail, from visa application checklists, recommended rental areas, and local SIM card guides, to common medicines, plug adapter types, and even a supermarket price list for the area. It covered everything, in perfect order. Joel added, "Compiled from past students' experiences, for reference." "Thanks," I sent back. His reply came instantly. "You've thanked me a lot, Alicia." I could almost picture his expression as he said it. Joel was known in our group as the academic machine, all about research. Every now and then, when I was swamped with chores, he would quietly fix a key derivation in my lab report. Once, when I was sick during a group project, he filled in all my missing data without a word. Now that I thought about it, I really had said thank you to him more than anything else. "Then let me treat you to a meal tomorrow," I typed. A few minutes later, his reply popped up. "Okay, good night." Neat and to the point, conversation closed. I put down my phone, absently opening my social feed. Helen had posted again. "Guys, you ever meet a crazy B*TCH? Being forced into the mistress role? Speechless. Acting like every man on earth is dying to marry her. What an overconfident loser." In the comments, her bandmates lined up to comfort her. Hugs. "Helen, don't be mad. Ignore her. You're too good for that drama. Next time, hug me. I don't have a girlfriend. Hug all you want." "Yeah, hug me next time. +1. I smirked, dragged her into my block list, turned off my phone. Chapter 5. The next day, in the cafeteria, I had barely sat down with Joel when Justin's calls started blowing up my phone over and over again. When I finally answered, his furious voice exploded through the speaker. "Helen felt guilty after your little crazy stunt yesterday. She quit the band and deleted all my contacts." "What did she do wrong? She's just open and friendly. Gets along with everyone. Over a small stupid thing, you just had to blow it up. Now Helen's gone. Are you happy?" Happy? Listening to him defend Helen's innocence and wronged feelings, word for word, I curved my lips and, loud and clear, said into the receiver. Yes, happy. I hung up on Justin's hysteria. When I looked up, Joel was back with 2 trays of food. Sorry, I said, a little embarrassed. I was supposed to be treating you. He sat down, gaze cool behind his glasses. Rain check. He said. Fine. I smiled, picking up my chopsticks. Next time, I'll make it a good one. Glancing at his tray, plain to the point of austerity, I thought to myself, this guy really lives like a monk. He had plenty of admirers, but it was like he had a built-in barrier against the world. No appetite for material things. Zero interest in entertainment. He ate in the cafeteria, and the rest of his time went to research. Still, having someone this reliable around, even if we were going abroad, at least I'd have a trustworthy companion. What I didn't expect was for Justin to show up under my dorm the very next day. Alicia, come with me to apologize to Helen. The band needs her. We just signed a contract. Do you know you're ruining her future? I looked at his face, twisted with anger, and found it absurdly funny. Is that so? I let out a short laugh. Then great. Justin froze, as if my words had burned him. Alicia, what's happened to you? His tone was full of incredulous disappointment. What happened? I met his gaze, turned evil, right? Before he could answer, I went on. If Helen really quits because of this, disappears from your world forever, and you never see her again, then yes, call me evil. But of course, she wouldn't. The band had just signed. The profit window had just opened. No way she'd walk away from that. This was nothing but a performance. Justin's face darkened to the extreme. Alicia, do you have to make a scene? A scene? I almost laughed, but mostly I just felt tired. I don't have the time to make a scene with you. Justin, we're done. I had an exchange program ahead, a mountain of coursework, piles of paperwork, an unknown journey. Every bit of my energy was better spent on those than on this tangle of trash. Alicia, he reached for my wrist. I pulled back. I just signed with the best agency. The producer believes in me when I debut. I'll have a brighter future. Whatever you want. So what? I cut him off. Justin, those have never been the things I valued. Fame, fortune, those were never why I loved him. Even if you became the biggest star in the Chinese music scene, I closed my eyes. Wouldn't care anymore. He froze, shocked by my resolve. His eyes burned with anger. There's a limit to this drama. No one will keep bowing their head to coax you forever. I said nothing, turned on my heel. It turns out the deepest disappointment isn't screaming or tears. It's when you don't even want to say one more word. From the moment he failed to stand by me, 10 years of love had already rotted away. Chapter 6. I went about preparing for my departure abroad step by step. I no longer paid attention to Justin's messages, but his band inevitably entered my field of view. They passed their audition, released their first album, and stirred quite a buzz in the market. As the lead vocalist, Justin used his exceptional voice and flawless features to quickly amass a legion of fangirls. At the same time, his couple pairing with Helen gained a sizable fan base. As for why Helen had left the band only to return, no one seemed to know. In any case, the band was hot, and Helen had transformed into a campus celebrity. She even started live streaming. In front of the camera, she smiled sweetly, her eyes all innocence, selling the image of a frank, genuine personality. As the only girl in the band, I'm totally the group's baby. All my big brothers take such good care of me. Someone in the chat teased, which brother do you like best? She covered her mouth in mock embarrassment. Oh, what kind of question is that? Adults don't make choices, obviously. I want them all. Ha ha ha. Soon, someone brought up her rumored romance with Justin. Helen instantly pulled a shy face. Her cheeks tinged pink. Don't start shipping us. How am I supposed to face Justin every day if you say that? He's so handsome. Of course I'd blush. She sidestepped the topic with perfect skill, walking the fine line between rejecting and inviting. Later, someone remarked, I heard Justin has a girlfriend. Helen's eyes lit up as if she'd stumbled upon a juicy piece of gossip, and she lowered her voice. Oh, can I say this? Since Justin's not here, I'll spill a little tea for you. Babies. It's his ex. They already broke up. Oh, what's his ex like? Someone in the chat pressed. Helen made a show of frowning as if carefully choosing her words. Well, it's hard to say. Everyone knows Justin is super cheerful, sunny, and well-liked, right? And well, she's kind of got this paranoia thing, always thinking someone's trying to take what's hers. Honestly, it's exhausting. Sometimes I even feel sorry for Justin. She sighed, her voice full of feigned grievance. And she even saw me as some kind of imaginary enemy. I was really scared. Back then, I actually left the band. You know? Just to avoid awkwardness, I didn't even dare see Justin. Later, Justin felt bad and waited for me outside my dorm for 3 whole hours, and even got me my favorite limited edition blind box. Only then did I reluctantly agree to come back. After all, the band's innocent. If I just left like that, it wouldn't have been fair to everyone, right? Her heartfelt confession set the comment section ablaze. Poor Helen, having to deal with a crazy ex like that. Helen's too kind, she suffered for the sake of the band. That ex must be obsessive. So pathetic. Just an average-looking, bitter girl. No wonder she got dumped. Before long, someone dug up old photos of me and Justin. In them, I'd been deliberately portrayed in the worst light. Calling her average is generous, she's straight up ugly. I feel bad for Justin. How could he even kiss her? Justin must have something to hide if he dated her. Heard they were childhood sweethearts, forced together by their families. God, I need to wash my eyes. Seeing the flood of insults, Helen quickly kindly told her fans, babies, don't talk about her, okay? And don't go digging, she's just an ordinary nobody. Let's all focus on our music instead. Okay? Chapter 7. I ignored the noise online, focusing instead on pushing through my workload and preparing to go abroad. Meanwhile, as the band's popularity skyrocketed, the fanbase quickly split into factions, one made up of Justin's solo fans who believed their idol should shine alone, and another formed by Helen's personal fans along with the die-hard couple shippers. The two sides were at each other's throats, tearing each other apart online. Justin's solo fans lashed out at Helen. The ultimate pretentious coquette, says just friends but every move screams clout chasing. Exactly. Talking trash about someone's ex is such a turn-off. Jumped straight onto Justin the night they won. Legs wrapped around his waist. This is just friends? Yeah right. I'm a woman, I know this move. Classic. The couple shippers fought back. Justin's eyes clearly sparkle when he looks at Helen. Helen's the one avoiding suspicion. Who's chasing whom is obvious. Some jealous fangirls need to calm down. The main couple is doing just fine. The war reached a small peak during a public interview. A reporter teasingly asked about Justin and Helen's relationship. Justin, wearing sunglasses, kept his expression perfectly in check. She's a junior I work with, an excellent bassist and a very good friend. Helen, smiling sweetly beside him, immediately chimed in. Yes. Just friends. Justin takes great care of the team. Everyone. Don't overthink it. The reporter, unwilling to let it drop, pressed Justin again. So, Justin, are you single right now? Justin paused for a moment, then nodded. Single. And what's your type? The reporter asked with a knowing glance at Helen. For example, someone attractive, cheerful, and who shares your interests. Justin's brow furrowed slightly, and he gave a textbook answer. Right now, I just want to focus on my career. Music is everything to me. Once the interview aired, Justin's solo fans celebrated like they'd won a battle. Hear that? Single and focused on music. Certain someone should know her place and stop clout chasing. As for me, after our last meeting at school, I hadn't had any contact with Justin, not until the eve of my departure, when I got a message from my high school desk mate, Alicia. Justin just competed on Singer. Can you believe it? He beat out a bunch of seasoned powerhouses and placed third. He's blowing up. Tons of big companies are fighting to sign him. I casually clicked the news link. In the video, Justin was nothing like his wild rock persona. He sat quietly under the lights, cradling a guitar, singing in a low, tender voice. And in the audience, Helen gazed up at him with tears streaming down her cheeks, a side profile perfectly captured by the camera. The comments section was on fire. Wow, I knew Justin could rock, but I didn't know he could kill with ballads too. This song Moonlight, did he write it himself? So much story in it. When I listen, I automatically picture Helen as the female lead. She's like his eternal white moonlight. Helen's crying in the audience. This has to be real. You can't fake that look in their eyes. The melody was achingly familiar. It was the song 18-year-old Justin had written for me. Under a summer night sky full of stars. Back then, he'd said, Alicia, when I stand on the biggest stage, the first song I sing will be for you, to tell the whole world you're my greatest love. Now, here he was, on a dazzling stage, singing our song, and in the crowd was a sea of strangers screaming his name. The girl in his song was about to be a world away from him. Chapter 8. The Airport. Joel pushed 2 large suitcases with a steady, unhurried stride. There was a kind of reliability and orderliness to the way he did things, beyond his years. From check-in to baggage drop, security, and filling out immigration forms, every tedious process seemed effortless in his hands. All I had to do was follow behind him, feeling lighter than I had in a long time. It reminded me of traveling with Justin in the past, how I was always the one making the itineraries, packing the bags, worrying about everything. He was like an overgrown child, constantly losing things and occasionally complaining just to add to my stress. In the waiting area, Joel handed me a cup of hot tea and a delicate little dessert, exactly how I liked it, 30% sugar, matcha flavor. Take a break. We still have some time before boarding. He gestured to the seat next to him. I took them, warmth blooming in my chest. Just as I sat down, my phone rang. Without checking the caller ID, I instinctively picked up. Alicia, the familiar voice came through, a little hoarse. That necklace you gave me for my birthday last year, where did you put it? I can't find it anywhere. My grip on the phone tightened. And that blue tie we bought together last time we went shopping, where is it? He kept rambling on, as if we had never broken up. The walk-in closet, second drawer in the tall cabinet, I said coldly. He seemed to pause for a moment, then pressed on. What about my underwear? You used to, Justin. I cut him off. We've broken up. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end. His breathing grew heavier, laced with stubborn grievance. What about your stuff? The dresses I bought you. The bags, the things you left here. Throw them away. Even that teddy bear you loved so much. You don't want it? I don't. What about me? His voice was thick and nasal, low and pitiful. Alicia, you don't want me either? I looked at the stream of hurried travelers outside the window and closed my eyes briefly. Justin, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. I'm not throwing your stuff away. You come get it, he said, almost petulant. In the past, whenever we fought, he'd use come pick up your things as bait, and when I did show up, he'd hug me, act spoiled, sweet talk me, and refuse to let me go. Maybe, in his mind, this was just another little tantrum of mine he could smooth over with a bit of coaxing. I'll hire a courier, I said. Alicia, don't be like this. His tone softened. Did you listen to my song? I sang our song, and when I finished, I remembered so much, growing up together. All our promises. Alicia, we're used to each other. How can we just end it like this? Right now, all these big producers want me, but I've just debuted. I can't make us public yet. Let's keep it low-key for now, okay? When I'm more established. Justin, I interrupted his endless promises. None of that has anything to do with me anymore. If it's not about me, then who? You're really going to break up with me? Who would you even go to? Huh? His voice carried a ridiculous certainty. No one in this world will ever care about you more than I do. He paused, as if making some magnanimous concession. I admit I let you down before. Maybe Helen's behavior was a bit over the line, but I swear, nothing happened between us. I let out a short, humorless laugh. See? You do know she crossed the line. But what did you say before? That she was just carefree? Innocent? Thoughtless? It's not that you didn't see her intentions, you just enjoyed the attention. You liked that murky, ambiguous thrill. Let's be honest. You were just looking for a little novelty outside the relationship. He faltered, my words hitting their mark. Alicia, I'm already bowing my head here. What more do you want? I'll keep my distance from her, okay? In a couple of years, when things are stable, we'll go public. I'll give you that sense of security. Happy now?" I smiled coldly. "Maybe in your eyes. I'm just an ordinary, unremarkable woman, but my love can't hold impurities, especially ones you knowingly let in. The moment you didn't choose me, didn't stand by me, we were over. From today on, you're free to chase your fame and glory. I'll walk my own road, toward my own horizon. We're finished." Chapter 9. I hung up without hesitation and immediately blocked his number. Then I went through every social media account where he could reach me, one by one. Deleted. Every post. Every story. Anything about him, erased. But 10 years, there was just too much of it. No matter how much I scrolled, there was always more. No matter how much I deleted, there was always another piece. When I was 10, he'd clumsily climb through my window to wipe away my tears. At 15, he'd ride me through streets filled with the scent of blooming locust flowers. At 18, he sang to me under the stars, guitar in hand, eyes burning like fire. At 20, he stood on stage while I sat in the corner, capturing the brilliance of his profile in a photo. Each one, a fragment of a time I once thought unbreakable. My fingers slid mechanically over the screen, deleting. A line from the book of songs surfaced in my mind. Everything begins well. Few can see it through to the end. Stories always begin like a dream you never want to wake from. But the endings, those come without warning, leaving wreckage everywhere. They say heartbreak is like a dull blade cutting into flesh, slow, and only felt after the fact. Now, the delayed ache came crashing in like a tide. Tears fell, drop by drop, onto the screen, not for him, but for the version of me who had given all her love and youth without holding anything back. A tissue appeared in front of me. I looked up to find Joel, who had quietly witnessed everything. I took it clumsily, wiping my tears without grace. "Sorry." My throat closed up. The rest wouldn't come out. "Give me your phone, I'll delete it for you," he said, holding out his hand, voice calm and natural. "You've been up since early. Get some sleep. I'll wake you when it's time to board." He placed an earbud in my palm. "If you can't sleep, just close your eyes and listen to some music." He took my phone without waiting for a reply. I hesitated, then put the earbud in. Soft jazz flowed into my ears, every track exactly to my taste. The tension in my body began to unwind. Fatigue hit all at once, somewhere between waking and sleep. I drifted off. I woke again to Joel's gentle voice. "Alicia, boarding time." He placed my phone back in my hand. "All done." The same calm expression, no probing, no questions, not even a single word of consolation. Only after the plane pierced through the clouds did I realize. Outside the window, the view blurred into the distance, and inside me, a lightness I'd never felt before began to spread. Chapter 10. The plane landed. We headed straight for the apartment I'd rented. I was sharing with 2 local girls. Joel lived not far away. Challenges came fast. Academically, the pressure spiked. In daily life, my cooking skills didn't go beyond boiling things. Luckily, Joel was a 6-sided warrior, skilled in everything, and a great cook. At first, I felt awkward always eating at his place, but the temptation won. Eventually, I shamelessly went over and paid by doing the dishes. But the shared apartment was a nightmare. One roommate threw parties every night, music pounding through the walls. The other was a slob, the common areas always a disaster. I couldn't sleep well or eat properly. Within a week, I looked worn out. One day over dinner at Joel's, I casually complained. He listened quietly, then set down his chopsticks and adjusted his glasses. "Alicia, want to move in with me? My roommate just left, there's an empty room." He paused, adding, "It'll make meals easier too." Between food and sleep, I didn't hesitate much, mostly because Joel radiated that calm, self-disciplined, trustworthy energy. Living with him felt completely safe, and once I moved in, my quality of life shot up. Finally, I could sleep through the night and wake to a hot breakfast. He was borderline obsessive about cleanliness, the place was always spotless, and I barely had any chores to do. After school, we'd research recipes together, then shop for groceries. I'd prep vegetables while he handled the stove. The days became steady, quiet, and comfortable. Except, living with the opposite sex came with moments of subtle awkwardness, like when our underwear ended up side by side on the balcony clothesline. I'd quickly grab mine without looking, but my peripheral vision would always catch a glimpse of that darker fabric. Or when we were on the couch watching a show, and a love scene came on, the air would freeze, and I'd suddenly have no idea where to put my eyes. It was nothing like living with Justin. Justin was a man-child, leaving things everywhere. Ordering takeout when hungry, sleeping when never, leaving most of the chores to me. Now, with Joel, competent in every life skill, I felt almost disoriented. I had assumed living with someone as reserved as him would be boring, but it was the opposite. We found we had so many shared interests. We were already academic partners, often debating topics late into the night. When we were together, there was always more to say, more to share. Chapter 11. Joel and I had entered the critical phase of our project experiment. All our time pinned to the lab. Domestic entertainment news rarely caught my attention, but Justin's name kept popping up like an unskippable ad. After making a splash on Singer's Arena, he went solo. Not surprising, compared to the other members. His popularity was on another level. Of course, the company would put all its resources into the most commercially valuable one. Helen's situation was far more awkward. She was just a bassist, mediocre vocals, and in an industry full of beautiful women. Her looks weren't exactly standout. Her popularity plummeted. She could only maintain exposure by casually mentioning the past in live streams. Justin's solo career soared even higher than during his band days. That song Moonlight became the theme for a TV drama, and when the series exploded in popularity, the song took off again, sweeping every street and airwave, eventually winning the Chinese Music Award of the Year. During the award interview, under the flash of cameras, he paused for a moment before saying in a deep voice, "Next. I want to win back my Moonlight." That same day, Helen posted a cryptic Weibo, "Congrats to the greatest lead vocalist in the world." The photo was of Justin holding her. Everyone speculated that a CP announcement was coming. Justin's legion of girlfriend fans threatened to unfollow en masse. Chapter 12. Justin held the trophy, feeling oddly dazed. He had everything he wanted, yet there was still an empty space inside him. The house was silent. Alicia's things were still there. He remembered the day she actually called a delivery service to come pack her stuff, and how he'd angrily thrown them out. He had already lowered his pride. So how could she be so heartless? He no longer had contact with Helen. Now he was focused solely on his career, ready to give Alicia a better life. She could focus on her research. He'd make the money and support their home. He had fame. He had wealth, yet he still couldn't feel happy. All the cheers and applause couldn't fill the void named Alicia. She was truly angry this time, but he would coax her back. Except, her phone was disconnected, and all her accounts had wiped away any trace of him. He went to her school. Her classmates said she'd gone abroad for an exchange program long ago. A flicker of panic rose in him. He told himself it was just her studies, and he'd support her even if he'd known. But he felt deeply insecure. He urgently wanted to see her. This time, no matter what, he'd make things right. Alicia would forgive him, she always had. They'd been together for years, and she was soft-hearted. He bought her favorite flowers and, after much effort, found out where she lived. 20+ hours of flights and travel left him exhausted, but thinking about seeing his girl again filled him with a giddy anticipation, like the thrill of secretly holding hands in high school. They'd never been apart this long, and the insecurity gnawed at him. He swore to himself, no more breakups. He couldn't live without her. He made a silent vow. Once they reconciled, he'd announce it publicly back home. The whole world would know Alicia was his. He stood at the door, nervous, knocking for a long time with no answer. Finally, the door opened. Standing there was not Alicia, but a tall man in loungewear. "Who are you? Where's Alicia?" Behind the glasses, the man's eyes were cold, openly hostile. "She's still sleeping." "What do you mean? Where's Alicia? I want to see her." Panic started to edge into Justin's voice. Joel's lips curved faintly, his tone icy. "Mr. Justin, she was very tired last night. We stayed up late. She probably doesn't have the energy to see you." Justin froze. "She was very tired. We stayed up late." The words stabbed at his ears. "Alicia. Come out. I want to see Alicia. He shouted. Chapter 13. The bedroom door was ajar, the voices outside seeping into my half-dreaming mind. Joel and I had stayed up until 3 a.m. last night, racing against the experiment deadline. I was dead tired. Joel, I shuffled out in slippers, yawning. What time is it? I feel like I just closed my eyes. My gaze landed on a man holding a bouquet of flowers, his face dark with anger. The words died on my lips. Justin? What was he doing here? His bloodshot eyes locked on me. Alicia. Who is he? You broke up with me because of him, didn't you? You're living together? He took a step forward, voice cracking with rage. You're sleeping together, aren't you? I looked at his furious face and pulled the corner of my mouth into a faint smile. Yes, we sleep together. So, what does it have to do with you? His body wavered. The roses slipped from his hands, scattering across the floor. My cold tones seemed to drain him. His voice softened, desperate. Alicia, let's not fight anymore, okay? Let's get back together. I know you're mad. It's all my fault. He stammered on. You can't possibly like someone else. You're just still angry with me, right? You're doing this to spite me. Mr. Justin. Joel's cool voice cut in. Delusions are an illness you might want to see a neurologist. Who the hell do you think you are? Joel's sarcasm ignited Justin's fury. He swung a punch, taking advantage of the situation. Huh? You homewrecker. Do you think you can compete with over a decade of childhood sweetheart love? Who the hell are you? Joel caught his wrist with precision. Over a decade of love is your excuse for hurting her and disappointing her over and over? That kind of love is cheap. I didn't hit where it hurt. Justin grabbed me, pleading. Alicia, whatever I did wrong, I'll change. Don't leave me. No one in this world loves you more than I do. You said you'd always be with me, that we'd never part. He's nothing. With me, you're the happiest. His hands trembled, eyes red, tears falling onto my hand. It was the first time I'd seen Justin cry. But looking at his broken expression, hearing his too late declarations, my heart stayed still. Too late. I met his gaze calmly. With him, I don't have to worry about the constant stream of women around him. I don't have to force myself into places where I don't belong. I don't have to fear my quietness will be seen as a buzzkill. I can sleep in peace. Eat food I enjoy. He makes me feel safe, relaxed, free to be myself. Alicia, I will. He tried to grab my hand again. I pulled free. My voice was even. Justin, I might bend over backwards for love, but too much disappointment blows that love away. I stopped loving you a long time ago. Don't you get it? It was as if all the strength drained from him, listening to the girl who once had only him in her heart calmly praise another man. Each word cut deeper than the last. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. At that moment, every word he could say sounded ridiculous. He had lost. Completely. Irrevocably. Chapter 14. The living room was left with only Joel and me, and the air was thick with a subtle awkwardness. Thinking about how I had just used him as a shield, I felt a little embarrassed and tried to explain. Joel, just now, I only said those things so he'd give up completely. I didn't mean anything by it. So, please don't take it the wrong way. Before I could finish, his tall figure closed in, trapping me in the narrow space against the wall. Alicia. His voice was low and husky. I don't want to be a boyfriend in name only. Then what do you want to be? I asked instinctively. He looked at me with an intensity and heat I had never seen from him before. I want. His eyes locked onto mine. Burning. The next second, warmth brushed my lips. My mind went completely blank. Joel was kissing me? How could this be possible? The frame of his glasses bumped against my nose, and I frowned slightly. He paused, releasing my lips, just when I thought he would stop. He raised a hand, took off the glasses that were in the way, and tossed them casually onto the cabinet. The next instant, a fiercer, hotter kiss crashed down like a tidal wave. I was completely stunned. Was this still the always cool and restrained Joel? He seemed unhinged. At first, I pushed against his shoulders, but he was like an immovable wall. Gradually, all resistance was drained away in that burning, Lingering kiss. I don't know how long it lasted before he finally let go. I fled back to the bedroom, lying in bed, tossing and turning. My mind was in utter chaos. Well, at least Justin's mess was completely dealt with. He wouldn't bother me again. But Joel, he just messed me up completely. Alicia. Dinner's ready. His knock came at the door, as if the man who had lost control and kissed me just now wasn't him at all. I buried my head in the pillow, refusing to answer. How was I supposed to face him now? Our perfect partner dynamic, and now we'd kissed? Ugh. How would we work together? What about our joint project? And who would cook for me? Was I doomed to eat awful food again? Wait, Alicia, why are you thinking about food? Is that the point here? As I rolled around on the bed, the aroma of food drifted in through the door. Sour fish soup, braised pork. I swallowed hard. Alicia, come eat something. His knock sounded again. Okay. My logic and sense of shame crumbled instantly under the absolute power of delicious food. At the table, I kept my head down, eating furiously. It was so good. Joel sat across from me, eating with his usual calm, even serving me food just like always. Cough. I choked in surprise at his casual gesture. He immediately handed me a glass of water. Slow down. I took a few sips, then summoned the courage to look up at him. Joel, about this morning, using you as a shield without your permission, and saying those things. I was wrong. Let's just call it even for what happened earlier, okay? I quickly lowered my head again. Even? How is that even? Joel put down his chopsticks, looking at me with a calm, leisurely gaze. My face flushed even more, and I grew a little annoyed. You kissed. What was with this man? Alicia. He interrupted my flustered words and asked seriously. Since you've already told people we're together, and you're enjoying the sense of security I provide, why not consider making it real? His straightforward question left me speechless, my heart pounding. I just broke up. So for now, I'm not planning to date anyone. Oh, Joel raised an eyebrow. Then when do you plan to? I'll get in line first. He said it so naturally, like we were discussing the scheduling of an experiment. Without thinking, I replied, a year? That's too long. He frowned, clearly displeased. Then, 6 months? I tried to shorten the time, pushing up his glasses. He said slowly, psychology says the average recovery period from the emotional fluctuations of a breakup is about 3 months. And Alicia, your psychological resilience score has always been high. Oh, okay. I agreed dazedly, but something felt off. Why did it feel like I just sold myself and signed a romantic relationship to begin in 3 months contract? Chapter 15. Days slipped by in a blur of heavy coursework and a subtle undercurrent between us. Back home, the entertainment industry was in turmoil, and sometimes its shock headlines broke into my quiet life. One morning, I had just unlocked my phone when a push notification blasted away all traces of sleep. Breaking! Top star Justin and Helen suspected of living together, spotted leaving love nest in the morning. The accompanying photo showed Helen in a skimpy camisole nightdress, walking out of Justin's place, raising a hand to shield herself from the camera with a startled look. The news instantly went viral. Confirmed? I knew something was going on between them. So she is Moonlight. Justin did say at the awards he'd go chase Moonlight. Ha. Called his ex crazy. But now he's the one chasing? Perfect match, jerk and gold digger. And they said they were just friends. Talk about instant karma. Justin's image just collapsed. They're both single now. So why can't they be together? It's obvious they only started dating after the breakup. Shipping fans were celebrating. Solo fans were wailing. And passers-by were mocking. Then Justin's studio suddenly dropped an unusually harsh statement, directly naming Helen. Last night at 3 a.m., Helen trespassed into Justin's private residence, which may constitute illegal behavior. She is merely a former colleague. Due to repeated shameless harassment and clout chasing, all contact has long been cut off. Please show self-respect, or legal action will follow. The public went into an uproar. Whoa, he just name-dropped and started a public fight? Helen must have staged the photos herself. Clout chasing gone insane, hoping for overnight fame. Poor guy. being stalked by this psycho, support taking legal action. In a blink, Helen was reduced to a complete clown. But plenty of people thought Justin had gone too far. They used to be teammates. Making it this ugly is low. Justin's too big for her now. Fame's gone to his head. While the public was still debating, the hashtag Justin throwing tantrums began climbing the hot search. The news was a video of him scowling, yelling at staff, and throwing props. What attitude is this? Fame's really gone to his head. Small-time diva behavior, thinks he's untouchable. I regret ever thinking his songs were good. He gives off such a hostile vibe. His studio quickly released a statement. Due to personal issues, Justin has been in a poor state recently. We apologize for the negative impact. But the public wasn't buying it. As the diva behavior news snowballed, Justin's former bandmate suddenly went live with a stream titled, "Spilling the Tea, the Real Face of Our Ex-Top Star Teammate." The moment they started, they wore the faces of people who had held it in for too long. We've been holding back for ages. But today we've gotta speak up. That breakup with his ex? Yeah, someone was the reason. Always hanging on to him. All touchy-feely. Pretending to be some innocent little angel. But she was scheming. We warned him to watch his boundaries. He had a girlfriend. After all. But did he listen? Nope. Said we were overreacting. Claimed his girlfriend was too sensitive. Oh. And he defended that one like crazy. Looking back, I really feel bad for that girl. Super smart. Gorgeous. Great personality. One pretentious coquette stirring the pot. And one guy playing dumb to enjoy the flirting. Neither of them are any good. And they wronged the one person who truly cared for him. Now he's just getting what he deserves. They played off each other perfectly. In that moment, human nature was on full display. Seeing Justin enjoying fame and fortune while they sat on the sidelines, they jumped on the trend and milked the drama for all it was worth, earning waves of attention and sympathy. Netizens dug deeper, soon unearthing my photos and resume, along with screenshots of Helen's passive-aggressive posts from the past. The tide completely turned. Oh my god, his ex is a Tsinghua University top scholar and national award winner. Elegant and stunning, the real white moonlight. That gold digger isn't even close. Justin must have been blind. She's so low-key and excellent. And she was bullied by that jerk and that girl? My heart aches for her. So much tea from her. Justin even defended her? Solid proof he's a jerk. Serves him right for his image to collapse. Overnight, Justin lost multiple variety show spots. And endorsements were cancelled or suspended. Helen vanished completely. Rumor had it she was blacklisted. Meanwhile, Joel and I were wrapping up our project. A few tricky data processes just wouldn't cooperate. Here, use this algorithm for iterative optimization. I didn't know when Joel had come up behind me, but he leaned down and wrapped his hand over mine on the mouse. In just a few clicks, he solved what had been frustrating me for half the day. Thanks. He didn't let go of my hand right away. Instead, keeping that half embrace, he tilted his head slightly. Classmate, just thanking me with words? Warm breath brushed my ear as he let out a low chuckle. Thank me with your mouth. I wouldn't say no. And then, he kissed me until I was breathless. Joel, it's still not 3 months yet. He chuckled softly. Just practicing. His tone was laced with unhidden delight and shamelessness. Ugh, what was with this man? With glasses. He was the picture of cold, ascetic academia. Without them, he was an insatiable pervert. Chapter 16. My time studying abroad was coming to an end before I knew it. Joel and I not only wrapped up our project perfectly, but our core results also earned an international patent and won the highest award. During the interview, he spoke fluently in a foreign language from start to finish, still exuding that same cool, restrained air. I want to thank my girlfriend. In countless nights of fighting side by side, her very presence was the greatest comfort and motivation. The audience burst into applause. I thought of his so-called comfort and motivation, and my face instantly flushed red. Only I knew just how perverse those two words really were for me. Later, somehow, the interview video was picked up by domestic media, translated, and sent back home. Ah, the ultimate sapiosexual couple. This is what a perfect golden pair looks like. Top-tier academic couple winning international awards together. This is who Moonlight Goddess truly belongs with. The news stayed trending for days. dragging Justin back into the public eye after he'd been quiet for a long while. It was graduation season, and some helpful netizens, out of curiosity, dug into his thesis. They found that its core arguments and paragraphs were highly similar to an unpublished paper, with multiple obvious signs of ghostwriting. Ugh, even his thesis is fake? Disgraced artists should just get out of the industry. No wonder he rose fast and fell faster, empty head. One brings glory to the country with an international academic award. The other needs a ghostwriter to graduate, worlds apart. Justin's company tried desperately to save him, even releasing 2 singles while he was mired in scandals. But the reception was lukewarm. People mocked, washed up already and after Moonlight. Nothing good ever again. That song he once wrote for me had now become the biggest symbol of his creative drought. Everyone was saying, a man who loses his wife loses all fortune. His career had gone completely dark. As for Helen, it was exposed that in a bid to stage a comeback, she had tried to cozy up to a married director, only to be caught red-handed by the wife, who brought people along. Videos and photos spread like wildfire online, turning her into a laughingstock, with no chance of recovery. Chapter 17. On graduation day. The sun was perfect. Joel wore a sharp suit and held a bouquet of pure white lilies of the valley. On his usually cool and composed face was now a visible trace of nervousness. He took a deep breath, as if summoning all the courage in his life, then slowly went down on one knee. Miss, will you be my lifelong partner in every future research project? I nodded through my tears, and he pulled me into his arms. Not far away, in a quiet corner, stood a figure both familiar and distant. Justin. He had lost a lot of weight, and the once-spirited face was now full of weariness. His gaze crossed the noisy crowd and landed on my ring finger. From across the distance, his hoarse voice came, Alicia. I wish you happiness. I smiled. Thank you. I will be happy. He had once sworn that we would marry after graduation, but now, in my cap and gown, I was receiving a ring from someone else amid everyone's blessings. She was gone for him forever. The happiness he could once reach just by stretching out his hand had stayed behind in the past, forever. Chapter 18. That night, the moonlight was bright and heavy. A pair of strong arms wrapped around my waist from behind. I seemed to remember, someone still owes me a meal? Seriously? He still remembered something from that long ago? Pick anywhere you like. This time, I'll make sure to treat you to something good. He chuckled low, tightening his arms around me. Really? You promise? Of course. I turned to face him. What kind of feast do you want? It's not going to be too expensive, right? Very expensive. Huh? What are you after? Truffles? Wagyu beef? Or maybe, before I could finish, his lips claimed mine. You. Just one word. Hoarse enough to make my heart stutter. The next second, the world spun. All my protests and gasps were swallowed whole. The night was still long,